Next up in Masters of Cinema's Louis Furet set is The Vampire from 1916, which is an epic, the longest running silent serial within this set, over 10 parts. It's just over 8.5 hours. The episodes can really vary in length, and I thought this was going to be a similar event to Fantomas, where we were going to have these contained stories, but instead here we have this rather grander tale going on here. France is being blighted by the vampires, a group of criminals who are just running amok. At the start of the series, they have killed off the lead investigator, the policeman who has been hunting them down, and Gerard, a journalist, has decided that no more. He's taking up the mantle of vampire hunter, and he is going to catch these arch criminals. From the very instance that they meet, you can tell that there is a threat to the whole plot here. Whereas in Fantomas, you kind of felt that the good guys and the bad guys were going to battle, somebody would get the upper hand, and then it would kind of continue throughout the other movies. Here, you feel as if there's a defined weight, opening up with the death of the initial investigator. We have multiple deaths throughout this. We have characters that come in and out of the story who leave in various ways. It all creates this kind of serious and heavy weight to this film, while still being fun, inventive, really kind of taking twists and turns and creating a wonderfully elaborate story. What I really liked about Les Vampires was the fact that it didn't stick to a formula, the way it kept adding in characters, because after the first couple of episodes I was wondering if it was going to hit that formula. But we have our vampires. We have Santanis, the kind of leader of the vampires. We have Irma Vep, the kind of female character of the vampires. We have Gerard, our investigative journalist. We have him teaming up with Mazamet, who becomes a little bit of a comic foil, but he's an endearing character that really has a wonderful arc through all 10 episodes here. We get Venenos, another vampire that comes in later on. We get the wonderful additions of Moreno, who in his own right is a master criminal himself, but feels aggrieved by the vampires. So for a couple of episodes, we have Moreno really taking out his grudge against the vampires, and it's one criminal against a group, and he really sets them to task. And it was this kind of change up early on within the serial that really kind of kept my attention. It was always going, there was always chase sequences, murder plots, there was always large heists going on, there was all these different facets, and Gerard would sometimes win, would sometimes lose, and it kept it fresh. But overall, it felt like a one large grand story, just kind of broke into segments with little finales before it would lead into the next kind of story. I loved a lot of the filmmaking that's going on in here, the way it kind of pushes the story front and centre, the way it has these characters, and there is not a great deal of intertitles, which I kind of liked, that they're leaving a lot of the information down to just showing rather than telling, which I felt great, because even though there's not a lot of intertitles, it does feel as if these are kind of plot heavy episodes and films that really have a lot of information, a lot to do and a lot to say. But I loved how this was based within sets, out in the real world, having chase sequences, having gunfights, having subterfuge, having people do some incredible stunts, and all through these episodes there are some fantastic stunts, and although some of them you can see how they're done and some of them are just jaw-droppingly, I'm pretty sure they did that They're all fun and engaging. The idea of Garand as this journalist with a cross to bear, and how all the episodes kind of tied together with an almost news supplement of what he had kind of wrote, and it's not news as you kind of see today. It's just like the vampires have struck again. Gerard is on the case. He's chasing down these people and will not let them get away. It's like little blurbs like that that just kind of feel really fun and push this one along, almost like a crawl at the start of every episode. The Vampires for me was another exceptionally terrific serial. Unlike Fantomas, where it had like 5 almost feature-length movies, Into the 10 Parts made it a lot more easy to digest and sit down and watch. And although they were all separate episodes, there was that connectivity throughout it that created that grander, larger story. And like I say, there are some wonderful arcs explored throughout this. I think my favourite is probably Mazamet, who starts off as a low-level vampire, but changes side and becomes instrumental to trying to bring down this group of terrifying people. The vampires themselves is such a great idea. These people who are sucking their life from society by stealing and robbing and murdering are well organised. They have contingencies. They have a hierarchy. They have a way that things will move if anything happens to them, which often does, which feels really good. The fact that there is this fluidity to the whole group. There is also within the filmmaking this idea of repetition in certain moments, which I really liked. So at the start of the serials, there is a wedding where the vampires are there and they're rejoicing and dancing and having fun, and it's kind of juxtaposed with one near the end of the series, and it does this several times where it have scenes that kind of match in different episodes but with different effects. It really kind of shows the forethought going into this one. Terrific. And The Vampires was an amazing serial. I really enjoyed this one a lot. I think the characters really jumped off the screen. It really came out to me and was something I loved. Even the bad ones like Irma Vep was a terrific character who really, again, what an arc she has throughout this. Let's dive into the discs and have a look at the extras. Here we are in disc 1 for Le Vampires. We have 4 episodes on this, where you can play them all or watch them individually. We have The Severed Head, The Colour Ring, The Red Cipher, and The Spectre. And there are audio commentaries by David Callat on The Red Cipher and The Spectre. That's the extras for disc 1. Here we are in disc 2 for Le Vampires, which has episodes 5 to 7. Again, you can play them all or you can watch them individually. We have 5, The Dead Man's Escape, 6, The Hypnotic Eyes, and 7, Satanis. And the extra on this disc is Pamela Hutchins on Musadora, who plays Irma Vep within the series. This is 22 minutes 49 seconds and was wonderful because I knew absolutely zero about this character, and she tells me so much about the actress and what she was involved with and their beliefs and that. And it's a terrific extra. Disc 3 for Le Vampires, which has episodes 8 to 10. Again, you can watch them all or individually. We have 8, The Master of Thunder, 9, The Poisoner, and 10, The Bloody Wedding. Also on this disc is The Spectre of War in Le Vampire, an essay by Elizabeth Ezra. Now, this is 12 minutes 6 seconds, and this talks about how the war, which had been going on, has effects on the storytelling within this, which was a really interesting aspect that I hadn't picked up on when I watched it, but as she pieces the information together, it becomes more and more apparent. And that's the extras for Le Vampire. So there we have it. Le Vampires, another winner from this set. I'm looking forward to moving into Judex next and see what that has to offer. And of course, I'll be back with my thoughts on that. But I'd love to know what you think of The Vampires. If you have seen it, let me know in the comment box below whether you love it, hate it, where you want to check it out, you're looking forward to see it. As always, there is more content up here. You can see more of my stuff. In the description box below are links to Patreon, membership program, manvfilm.com. Always in which you can support. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.